Hello and welcome to Just One More Watch. Welcome today to another unboxing courtesy of another generous subscriber. This one is thanks to a chap called Richard over in Melbourne. He got in touch with me a couple of weeks ago, said that for his birthday next month he had ordered himself a brand new Hamilton Murph. He wasn't going to open it. Could he send it to me so that I could open it for all of you? Couple of things. Richard, thanks for loaning me your watch. Happy birthday for next month. Congratulations on having the discipline not to rip open the packaging the moment it landed on your doorstep, and congratulations on a nice bit of lateral thinking there. You may not have opened it early, but by sending it to me, you kind of have, haven't you? Now, I'm sure most of you are familiar with this watch, the Hamilton Murph. It was launched a couple of years ago to great fanfare. It is one of the two watches from Christopher Nolan's 2014 sci-fi epic Interstellar. If you haven't watched this movie, I highly recommend it. I watched it last year when I reviewed the Hamilton Coupe. Definitely one of Nolan's more digestible pieces, shall we say. You can pretty much hang on to the plot. And for once, Matthew McConaughey's enunciation is reasonable. He doesn't mumble most of his lines like he normally does. If you've watched True Detective or Dallas Buyers Club, you'll know what I mean. Like most of Nolan's films, Hamilton watches feature prominently. Two in particular, one worn by McConaughey's character Coupe, one worn by his daughter's character, Murph. I reviewed the Coupe last year and I loved it. Dress style Flieger, it made my top 5 list of 2020. Watch fans were left scratching their heads that Hamilton didn't actually release a version of the Murph, a production version of the Murph, until 5 years after the film. But when they did, it was a really hot ticket as discussed. That was, however, a couple of years ago. These things were selling for $995. Richard bought his for a mere $750. Let's flip the camera and find out what he got for his cash. Okay, so I got into the outer box and I found a beautiful handwritten note from Richard. Richard, that is some nice handwriting. Your teacher should be very, very proud of you. I found the watch and I found this, a collection of sci-fi short stories. I'm not sure whether this is a gift for me or not. I will clarify that with Richard before I read it and pop it on the shelf behind me. Or maybe he was just confirming that he is a proper, fully fledged sci-fi nerd. I think the purchase of this watch pretty much confirmed that anyway, mate. Now, warning, this unboxing contains spoilers. If you haven't watched Interstellar and you have the vaguest inclination, I would suggest watching it before you watch the rest of this video. Now, clearly Hamilton paid a lot of money to have their watches featured in Christopher Nolan's film. I think Hamilton paid a lot of money to have their watches featured in a lot of different films. Also in Tenet, there were various Hamiltons in there, but they managed to do so in Interstellar anyway in a manner that wasn't gratuitous. They weren't just shoving the watches in there for the sake of it. They managed to integrate both the Coupe and particularly this Murph as key plot devices. Matthew McConaughey's character gives it to his daughter and then she kind of cracks the code. At the end of it, he's able to communicate to her from another dimension using the watch. I'll kind of leave it at that. A little bit of a spoiler later on. Are you ready? Here it is. There it is. Another reason why Richard picked this one, not just because of his sci-fi fetish, is because he said if a child drew a watch, this is what they would draw. And I know what he means. It's a beautifully simple looking piece. It looks like it's more of an unbagging than a sticker peeling, but hey, we work with what we're given, so let's do it. No, good news is an unbagging and sticker peeling. Let's peel off the dial protector. And yeah, that is a very, very handsome looking watch, isn't it? Hamilton loved their long and unwieldy model numbers, so this is the H70605-731. And Richard said he purchased this one on eBay from a seller in Canada. As you can see here, the tag is Canadian, so RRP on this one, 1,230 Canadian dollars. I assume it was this vendor in Canada because he paid 750 USD. One left in stock. I'll leave a link in the description, but these are still available as I said. And one final sticker before we do measurements on the case back there. And yeah, that is lovely. Arguably some of the most convincing fauxtina that I've seen on anything. Very, very subtle. And interestingly, they've matched the stitching on the leather strap as well. I think it looks great overall. But as you can see, no anti-reflective undercoating on that sapphire crystal. That's my biggest complaint about the Hamiltons at around this price point, the khakis, the Pilot Pioneers, etc, etc. Now, when it was released, 42mm in diameter, by the way, 42mm in diameter, 11mm thick. That is really, really slim. That is gorgeous, but 52mm lug to lug. People did note that it does have a fairly lengthy lug to lug dimension. 22mm lug width, and on this supplied leather strap, kind of typical Hamilton quality, nice colour match stitching there, and decent hardware also with the Hamilton brand name etched in there. It weighs in at exactly 80 grams, so not heavy and not thick, but it is rather long. Let's see how that translates when I put it briefly on my wrist in a minute or two. All stainless steel construction, push-pull crown, 100 meters of water resistance, sapphire crystal on the upper side, and that is a Hamilton H10 automatic movement. So the H10 is one of Hamilton's numerous versions of the Powermatic 80 movement. So it's based on an ETA caliber C07.661, which is in turn based on an ETA caliber 2824-2. So 25 joule hacking and hand winding Swiss made auto, and it's effectively in-house because Hamilton are part of the Swatch Group own ETA. Now, being based on a 7.6 movement, this has the regular escapement rather than the synthetic escapement. I believe these ones are a little bit more reliable than the newer synthetic versions. Overall, a cracking movement, and one that you can wear Monday to Friday, leave it on your bedside table, pick it back up again on a Monday morning, and not have to set the time, which is definitely a bonus. And while we're having a look at some macro, let's have a look at the dial and hands. It really is beautifully simple, isn't it? I love those stylized Arabics, I love the colours, and I love the cathedral hands. That was one of the reasons why Richard, I think, picked this one up. It's because of that cathedral hour hand in particular. Nicely proportioned hour, minute and second hand as well. As you can see, they push all the way out to the respective tracks where they should push. And they haven't over-branded it either. The Hamilton name printed above the pinion, khaki automatic beneath it, and Swiss made obviously down beneath the 6. The dial is matte black in colour, which I think suits the 14er look overall, making this look like an older watch than it actually is. I would love to have seen some anti-reflective undercoating though, so you could look at it in all of its glory rather than having to deal with permaflecto. And one other little spoiler for the film, have a look at the second hand. The hand finish is gorgeous. Lovely silver finish to all three hands, but have a look at the second hand. There's actually a line of Morse code down the length of the second hand. You really have to look at this one very closely to pick it. Spoiler alert, it's because when Coop was speaking to Murph from another dimension, he managed to speak to her using the second hand of the watch, getting it to perform Morse code, and she then interpreted the Morse code. He managed to send her enough Morse code to crack the secrets of the galaxy, and when she discovered it, what did she utter? She uttered Eureka, claiming that it was traditional, and that is the word Eureka in Morse code down the length of the second hand. That is a very nerdy touch, and I like it a lot. Before I wrap up today, I will put this watch on my wrist as gently as possible so that Richard, when his birthday comes, still does have the full unboxing experience. That's it. Looks great. That strap is going to require some breaking in. As I said, I'm doing this as gently as possible. Nice hardware as noted. Love that colour match stitching. But yeah, that is a big, long lug to lug at 52mm, isn't it? I mean, overall, it's not an enormous watch, and it is very, very slim. 11mm thick. That is great. I think I can just about get away with it on my 7-inch wrist. The long lug to lug length was well noted when this watch was launched, so I'm sure Richard is aware of that. I hope he has the wrist to do it justice. So a lovely looking watch then, with a couple of foibles, a couple of obvious things to consider. I've no idea why Hamilton didn't release these back in 2015 when the movie was still hot. I guess it just goes to show how popular the movie is long term with fans, that people are still prepared to pick these up now, 7 years after the movie was launched. Not prepared to pay the full price though. Interesting to note that they have dropped by about 25% of the original purchase value. You can pick these up for $750, as I said. I'm sure Richard will be delighted with this. I will send it back over and he can re-unbox it on his birthday. So there you have it. Well done for making it all the way to the back end of the video. Gorgeous looking watch. I hope Richard has the wrist to pull it off. If you're a fan of Hamilton and Interstellar, why not check out my review of the Coupe? Or if you like watches with a movie reference in them that don't break the bank, why not check out my top 10 list? Thanks for watching. I'll see you all soon.